Hey everyone, Morgan Lynn here, and this is Ask Me Anything for September 2019. While we're waiting on some lovely ones to join me on the live stream, I have a story to share that it's always interesting to me how life, how source, how spirit, how the universe really supports us in understanding the things that are left undone. This is why I am such a passionate advocate for shadow work, is because everything we draw into our experience is just another opportunity to see what is left, what is still wounded, what is still hiding in the shadows and requiring our attention. If we can attune those skills to pay attention to the glitches, oh my God, like, can you imagine the freedom you'd feel if you knew exactly what was happening in your body? You could figure out where the source was and find the originating wound and then give it what it needs to be able to move forward. It is profound. It is amazing. And so for me, because I am always in a I walk my talk kind of place with my work, I never expect my clients to do the work that I am not willing to do. So last weekend, story time, right? Last weekend, I had this amazing opportunity to be on stage with my mentor and coach, Rachel Jane Gruber. I have been in her mastery program this past year, and she does this 3-day event in Denver called The Awakening, and invited me with 6 other people to go on stage and share our successes. Now, for some of you that know me, that's kind of a big deal. I tend to be a silent celebrator. I don't really, I don't show it. I don't show off. I don't announce a lot of things. I don't put a lot of things in the world like that. And so it's difficult for me to own self. Like, do you ever get that? Do you ever feel that way where it's feels like you're being arrogant, or it feels like you're being a braggart, or you're showing off too much? And I never want that. I never want people to think that of me. So being on stage in front of 300 something plus maybe people, I don't know the final count, to be able to share my successes on stage was an opportunity for me to see if I could actually do it, to actually see if I could watch myself brag. And I had even given a promise to my accountability partner, Leah, that I promised to brag. So we're on stage, just really present with all the love in the room, and the audience was amazing. And of course, I'm on stage with some of my friends from the program. So it's a very beautiful, safe container. So there's no reason why I couldn't just share, right? I got to go last, which actually was a blessing because I was so nervous. It took me a little time to calm down and get my breathing regulated and bring myself into my center. Side note, it's the empath thing. As soon as I get on stage or in front of people, I feel every single person in the room. So it just takes me a minute to settle back down into my own space. You empaths will probably totally understand what I mean by that. I got to go last. I got to share. I was present enough to watch myself and monitor how I was sharing. I expressed my pain from this last year, or from the year before. Like, she wanted us to share like who we were in the beginning and who we are now. And I could express my struggle easily. I could express my pain fairly easily. I cried probably, I think, a couple times on stage, which isn't unheard of. You know, that's the way it is. I even shared the things I had to face, so the shadow work. So what struck me as funny is I can talk about the pain easily. When it got to the point where I got to celebrate and share my successes, I glitched. There was a little part of me that shut down because, like, even right now when I talk about it, I can kind of feel the shrink, the way we kind of collapse in on ourselves when we get close to a word that triggers us. Even now, as I talk about it, it's an interesting feeling. It's that body indicator of wanting to close in on itself, almost like an armadillo wanting to kind of ball up so that it has its armor, right? Anybody resonate with that? We all have words that are triggers for us. And it isn't necessarily the word itself, it's the meaning we have given it. Because for me, the words, it's kind of a family of words, but it's arrogant, show off, brag. All of those words are triggers for me in the sense of I don't want anyone to think about me because I don't want them to hate me. I don't want them to reject me. If they think these things of me, my past, my experience has been if they want to show off a little bit, they'll leave me or they'll reject me or I will be ostracized. I will be out. Doing a lot of work around that. Like, where do we not celebrate ourselves because we're afraid of what people are going to think of us, when truly, more than likely, we're not actually bragging. We're not actually coming from that space in the shadow of I am better than you, because that's kind of where that energy lies. It's not a, when you're arrogant, it's not a positive thing in our society, right? It's usually a negative thing. And so whenever we have this, let me just kind of check in with everybody. I didn't have my, hey everyone, I'm rambling a little. I'm almost finished. Get your questions ready because I'm super excited to connect with you. So my point is that if you were to open up social media and someone that you cared about had posted something not so great about you, had called you something, had said, oh my God, she's so this, or he's such that, what is that word for you? What is that word that would just cut your heart open and devastate you because it is the word you're afraid that people might think of you? For me, it's arrogant. It's show off. It's brag. I don't want to be a braggart. I don't want people to think that about me. But because I'm so afraid that they're going to think that about me, I over shrink in on myself. I underplay myself. I go beyond the humility and I minimize myself. And I take away my successes. And it's okay, it's not a big deal. And I celebrate internally. I don't share with the world how freaking proud I am of my work. Oh my God, I'm so fucking on fire with the way things are working right now. I don't share those things. And so what's interesting about that play is we're so afraid that that word's true that we overcompensate by doing the opposite to a point where it hurts us. Like, yes, of course, humility. Yes, of course, gratitude and thank you, and have that humility. But it's a step lower where we're harming ourselves and minimizing our worth and lowering our standards and our integrity and what we stand for and what we speak about because we're so afraid of what people are going to say about us. So I'm on stage with the opportunity to freaking celebrate, not only in front of my mentor and coach, who I highly admire, and then the people that I've journeyed with for, this year that have seen me in the most vulnerable freaking puddles of tears, because I've had so many breakdowns in our intensives, but then also in front of this audience that I know what their collective intention is because of the container that's held, right? So I knew I was safe. I knew I could share. I knew I could brag. But there was a glitch inside of me that wouldn't allow it. There was a glitch. There was a moment when I'm like, I'm too afraid that everyone is going to reject me, so I downplayed it. So the thing that I'm grateful for is I was super aware that it was actually happening, which is the first time that's ever happened. Usually I shut down and I black out and I don't remember those things. So that's progress. So I'm happy about that. I don't know who I'm feeling, but I feel like somebody's resonating with this. I feel your heart chakra, right? I feel the ping of pain around that. Yeah. How many times do we minimize ourselves just because we're afraid of what people might think of us? And that's kind of the end result kind of question, like the thing that I invite you to ponder. Where are you over minimizing yourself just in case? And that's not working for us, is it? It doesn't hurt anything to own who we are. We're not taking away someone else's light by shining brighter. So there isn't anything wrong with bragging about your success and owning your journey and stepping fully into the transformation that you can look back and you can go, oh my God, I've come so far. Because that intention isn't to take away from someone else. So don't take away from yourself. Give yourself the space. I'm learning that. I'm breathing into it. I know where it comes from. I've done some shadow work around it. It's my mom. Ooh, mom stuff. There's some more mom stuff. But it's that space of like, okay, I know where it comes from now. So just take a big breath in that. Just take a moment and really just breathe into it. Because what happens when we fear, right? When we're afraid of judgment and ridicule and rejection and all that is we shrink, right? We get tight. Yeah, I see some hearts. Good, I'm glad you're resonating. So take a breath and actually let's go against what we are programmed to think, where we have to shrink in and protect. Why don't we breathe and just make some space for it and just see what else is possible in there? Because maybe something can shift on its own where we don't have to fight it if we just kind of change our tactics a little. So just take a breath and see that space open instead of shrinking on itself. So yeah, that was my last weekend. It was phenomenal. It was amazing. I got to meet so many cool people. I got to be on stage and share my stuff. And I walked away feeling like, yeah, I did that. Even though I glitched, because I was proud that I was aware that I glitched. So that's a big win for me. I'm a firm believer that if you can catch those moments, it's the last time. If you can really stay aware of when you're glitching, that's one of the last times you're going to do that. So it's a big deal. So yay, I'm celebrating that. So what are you celebrating? Oh, yeah, good, rambly. I don't know where all this energy came from. I actually wasn't going to do one of these today because I was so tired. Hey, Levi. Hey, Amber. Speaking of people I got to meet this last weekend. So who's got questions? Hey, Pam. Hey, Regina. Good to see you guys. Hey, Yvonne, Lori, Cynthia. Hi. My son is online. Hello, my child, my offspring. So what are we doing today? What questions do you have? Oh, shut up with your mom stuff, Chandler. You know you're going to have mom stuff, and I've told you when you're in therapy and my name comes up, we'll have a talk. But until then, you can't give me any shit about it, so don't even try. So what's on your heart today? What are you noticing? Where are your glitches? Maybe that's where we get to go today. How do you glitch? How do you minimize when you're feeling really good about something, but then you notice the restriction, right? When you kind of close in on self, where do you do that? Where are you afraid of opening up social media and having someone saying something about you? Kind of sink into that feeling and what's the word? And type it up in the chat. What is your word of what you're afraid of? And it can change, because last year my word was arrogant, and I've worked on that, which now it's, for some reason, it's show off and brag, which is still, again, that same family, but has an equal response, right, kind of feeling. So what's your word? Yeah, Ember says incompetent. Yeah. For some, it could be fraud. For some, it could be lazy. It could be inept, stupid. Like, what are those trigger words for you that you're running away from? That you're running away from? Because what's interesting is we don't actually sit and think about these words very often, do we? We're actually running away from them. We don't like sitting and feeling them, right? And so, what if we just took a moment and sat with it? I don't know about you, but I'm tired of running away from it. Because the way the game gets played is if I'm so afraid that this is what people think of me, I'm going to overproduce the opposite of what I think that word is. So I would overproduce humility. And so anytime someone would give me a compliment about my work, I would minimize it. And I go, no, 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 it's my guy. It's not me. I'm not doing it. They're telling me what to do. So I wouldn't take ownership of my work. And when that happens, then you actually do feel like a fraud. You have that fraud factor come in, because if you're giving the credit somewhere else, then you're not taking it for self, then you feel like a fraud. Says know it all. Ronnie, awkward. Pam is weird. Yeah, these are good words, right? So I wonder if you would be open, since we're not getting a lot of questions, I wonder if you're open to playing with me a little bit. Okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to feel into your body where that word is. Like, where does it stab you? Where does it rest? Someone's is in the back of the neck. I don't know who that is. That it feels like something just hit me upside the head. So somebody's is right here at the nape of the neck, right at the base of the skull. So take a moment and breathe into that. Feel the word, hear it, breathe it into your body. What we tend to do, I can feel it, right? Everyone's like, oh shit, we're not doing this today, right? This is not what I signed up for. It's okay. You don't have to do the exercise, but you're here and something called you to be here. So why don't we play a little bit, right? Take the word that gives you charge, that has a charge around it, and take a breath. Feel the tightness in your body. Feel wherever it is in your body. For a lot of us, it's going to be in the throat chakra, because the throat, like that truth starts coming out. So when we are afraid of owning something or speaking truth or claiming who we are, the throat is usually the one that locks it down. It could also come into the heart chakra because we've had wounding, emotional trauma around that word. You feeling it? Who am I feeling? Who is the back of the head? Who is not breathing right now? That's strong. Feel it, right? Just feel it. Acknowledge it. Just say hi. We're acknowledging the part of your body that, yeah, thumbs up, got it. Acknowledge the part of your body that's trying to protect you. This is just trying to protect you, because I'm inviting you to do something that we don't usually do. We don't usually bring this into our body, right? We usually are pushing away from it, running away from it, running around the planet proving that that thing's not true. So we're killing ourselves to try and prove that that word isn't true. Okay? So acknowledge that. Acknowledge the part of your body that's just trying to protect you. Acknowledge it. Just say hi. Yeah, I feel you. Thank you. Thank you for that. I get that you're protecting me. I get that this is hard. I get that this is making you nervous, because there is a part of you that is being the protector for you. And here I come asking you, no, let's just bring it in the body. Let's just feel it. Let's sit in it. And this part of you is going, what? We don't do this. We're not doing this. Yeah. Okay. Laura's the throat. I feel all that you're describing. Okay. And then Ronnie is solar plexus. Okay. Pam's feels like screw tightening in the back of the head. Good. All right. Because I'm like, these aren't my feelings. What's happening? This is not my stuff. So acknowledge it, right? And take a breath. And as you breathe, I want you to see those places in your body that is reacting. I want you to see them just relax and expand and just get a little bit of pliability in there, get a little elasticity in the space, because when it locks down, it gets very hard and rigid. And it's like a shell, right? It's like that armadillo shell, nothing's getting in. So we just acknowledge, yep, get it, totally get it. I'm asking something of you that you didn't really know you were walking in on. Perfect. And when you take a breath and you acknowledge that, there's something really beautiful about that part. No longer feels like it needs to protect you. It just starts to relax. It's watching, doesn't trust me. That's okay. I get it. So that might actually start subsiding. I'm feeling, oh, and Levi says space between my heart and my throat. Yeah. Nathaniel, the discussion is hard to recap. I apologize. I would highly recommend catching the recording in a moment, because we're rolling, right? We're kind of rolling in this conversation. Take a breath, let it come into your body. And as gently as quicksand, we're just taking the awareness of how that word is reacting. We're not changing it. We're not fixing it. We're not healing it. We're not doing anything with it. I want you just to breathe it in, down into the body, all the way to the pelvic floor, all the way into the root chakra. And that takes as long as it takes. This isn't something where you have to like just shove it in and force it and hurt yourself just to get through it. We want to really walk through the process and let it sink in its own natural time. Because I'm also feeling someone with a headache. All of a sudden, like this part of the head started hurting. Notice these things. This is what is so genius about body indicators. These body indicators are just letting you know that something is out of alignment. It thinks you're in danger because we're doing something uncomfortable. That's it. You're not in danger. In fact, this is one of the most gentle healing processes that I've come up with lately. Being able to like walk through all the different parts of you, through all the different archetypes that are guarding the gates. This is very gentle. So take your time, breathe it in, breathe it in, breathe it in. And then ask your questions around that. I wanna be present for you, because I didn't intend to go here today. I certainly didn't intend to walk you all through like, ta-da, guess what we're doing? We're doing this. So please ask your questions and let me walk you through it if you have them. It's always funny to me how spirit works, because I actually wasn't going to do one of these today, and I kept feeling my guides like pushing me and telling me to do this. So I'm like, wow, I want the day off. This is my only day off this month. And they're like, nope, we're going to do this. So what is going on in your body now? Do you feel it subsiding? Is it getting stronger? Is the pain, like, is it increasingly getting tighter? Or do you actually feel it opening up? Can you find yourself having an easier time breathing? Like, where are you right now with all of this work? And we're just letting it come in, right? So just keep going. Let me know where you are with it. Yeah. It's so fascinating how today is working out. Do you ever marvel at it? Do you ever marvel at divine order? It just is like the most beautiful tapestry connection of the whole thing, of how every single one of you are here today. I didn't intend on talking about this, and yet here we go, right? Amber says, I feel more open. Levi is gracefully easing up. Good. There is something so fascinating about it. We are designed to attack the thing that hurts or run away from the thing that hurts. That's the fight or flight, right? Or freeze, of course. But in this case, when we start inching up towards something that is uncomfortable, meaning something that is wounded, this is why shadow work is so important right now. When we start feeling uncomfortable, the ego kicks on and it goes, no, that's dangerous. And it tries to back you away. It'll distract you. It'll create new dramas, new traumas. It'll create whatever it needs to get you away from the thing that it perceives as dangerous. We are so clever at surviving. Years and years and years of that evolution in our lives, we believe now that anything uncomfortable is dangerous, and we don't even give it a second thought. We just back away. But here's what I propose, is that these things that are wounded, that when we get close to them, when we glitch with a word, or we meet a person that reminds us of someone from our past, or we have mom shit come back up in our field and we're like, oh, that reminds me of my mom, and we feel the trauma again. These aren't punishments. These aren't just you not being able to figure it out and you need to keep working and learning your lesson. It's not what's happening. It is these wounds that we have buried that are creating these experiences to remind you that they're there, because we have forgotten. We're very good at going, nope, I don't want to deal with that right now. I shall press on, but we never turn around and ask again, okay, I'm ready for you. So as children, we learn how to put it all away. And then as adults, we just pretend like it's not there anymore. And it is a very out of sight, out of mind concoction. If we don't see it, we don't think about it, right? So that's how clever it is. But the wound has its own consciousness. It has its own awareness. And it no longer wants to sit in the dark anymore. It no longer wants to sit there and be forgotten. It wants to be unearthed. It wants to be acknowledged and come back into the light, to be healed, to be released once and for all. So we are required to be brave enough to lean into what's uncomfortable rather than perceiving it as being dangerous and moving away from it. So when something's uncomfortable, it's just the indicator that something is out of alignment, that something wants your attention. But we are so designed to run away from those things. We can't do that anymore. It's not a secret. I know you guys know me well enough to know that I'm not a very big love and light person, where I don't believe that just being positive is going to heal us. That if we just use affirmations and we just make vision boards and we just, because that's only half of the equation. Yes, please be positive. Yes, please use affirmations and manifest and be positive and go for your dreams. But if we don't do the shadow work that is hindering us allowing these positive things in our lives, we will never get past them. I am on stage deserving of celebrating my successes, knowing I was, really saturating myself with that awareness. And because of that glitch, because of that one shadow, I didn't let myself do it fully, right? So it doesn't matter how positive you are. It doesn't matter how much you love and you have gratitude. It doesn't. That's great. Yes, have that. But if you don't do your shadow work as well, your glitches will steer your life and they will take you out of your alignment. And you can positive all you want, it won't matter, because that's where the fraud factor comes into play. You can say all the fluffy little bunny words, but you know you're lying to yourself if you don't do that shadow work. So Amber says, oh man, I'm so experienced what you're talking about after signing up for mastery. I came down with an illness which has brought on a huge rash of blisters all over my chest. Ooh, honey. Ooh, feeling you. Just as I feel I'm getting better, I end up feeling worse the next day. I'm guessing the energetic seed is stepping forward in mastery and sharing my business more openly. There's a huge possibility of that, right? There's something about, again, because the formula is we like to be small at times, there's a, I don't want to be visible, because we have, like, I can actually feel that in you. I can feel yeah. If we're visible, then we're open to attack. It's from caveman times, right? A small target is hard to hit. Everything in nature, when it is in danger, it shrinks in on itself. We're not really in danger when we sign up for these programs, or we want to, express ourselves. We want to go into new ventures. We're not really in danger, but our animalistic brain doesn't know the difference. It thinks it's dangerous because it's uncomfortable. And so it sabotages, right? That would be the inner saboteur of like, nope, 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 nope. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. Making you think something is wrong with the experience you're choosing to try and talk you out of what you're choosing. We're so freaking clever that way. Like, I love it. And then I get mad at it. And then I love it again. And I'm like, oh, it's so frustrating, but it's so amazing because it's just freaking genius the way we do that. Yeah, she says yes. How is everyone else feeling? Pam says, I feel loosening behind the head, tears falling. Oh, sweetie, loving you. Yeah, right? Yeah. Let it all soak in. Let it just kind of come into you where, I don't know, there's, oh my God, you guys. Like, how much more harder are we going to try and keep making this in the name of healing? How much longer are we going to do it like this? I love efficiency. I want to figure out the quickest, fastest route that's still nutritious, not the easy way out, because it's not that. I want to find the fastest way through the fire because we got to go through the fire. But I want to make that efficient. And that's what I'm figuring out in my shadow work with people, is that there are ways around the hard dredging it up. It's not therapy where you have to like find all the perpetrators and write all the letters. Now, I am an advocate of therapy. Yes, please go do that if that's something that supports you. But this isn't, shadow work isn't that. It's not the same. There are faster routes through these wounds. Hey, Sandy. Knowing I am growing and seeing and knowing who I really am, then you unearthing within me that lie buried deep and down inside. This will take ongoing addressing and knowing it is not true. Thank you so much. So for context, I won't give any personal details, but Sandy is in one of my classes and we had the most amazing aha moment last night. There's this, I'm such a nerd. Like, I freaking love this so much because I love human nature and I love looking at the mechanics of how we're clever and how we avoid and how we pretend we want to go for things, but how we don't really want to go for things. And then when we actually do get the things and we sabotage the things, like, we're freaking big dumb animals that we're all saying we want these things, but we don't really want these things. And it's just very funny the way we work around that. And it all stems from the hidden wounds. So speaking of efficiency, yeah, it's all fine and dandy. Okay, I kind of figure out this is what I'm doing right here, but I want to get down to why I'm doing it. This is great. That's the surface stuff. That's the obvious stuff. But I want to dig in and figure out why. those originating wounds that are buried deep into your shadow self, that's why. And until we unearth them, we're never really going to move forward. How's everyone else? This is the weirdest Ask Me Anything I've ever done. And yet at the same time, I think it's my most favorite. Because we've had no questions. We've had all experiences. Yes, I see your hearts. Hello, loves. Chime in. Tell me how you're doing. Tell me how this is going for you. Let me know if you have questions about it, because my very last intention is to ever like shake you and then send you on your way with like, meh, go figure it out. I always want to be present to helping you if there's questions around what we just did, right? Hey, Miss Katie. Hey, Renee. Just looking through all the, yeah. How are you? How are you feeling? Now tune into those places where you felt the resistance, right? How are they feeling now? Because there should, if my calculations are correct, there should be some relaxation in those places. It's not as high stress protection mode because we've talked it through, we've monologued long enough to where it's like, okay,